Good morning. Magandang umaga po. Mayong buntag, esteemed colleagues, friends, and cherished senior citizens. Welcome to our town hall meeting today. As we gather here on this auspicious Sunday, we come together to celebrate the essence of our senior citizens, the pillars of wisdom, resilience, and strength within our communities and of our country. I am Pierre Chin Gallinero, and I welcome everyone to join us via Facebook Live with our distinguished experts, Peer Tony Avila and Peer Raul Reyes, as we embark on this episode and delve into the rich tapestry of experiences, stories, and insights that define the essence of our senior citizens. Before we begin, I would like to narrate a brief anecdote. In a bustling neighborhood in Manila, a 75-year-old Lola Maria defies the stereotype of retirement by running a small bakery from her home. Every morning, she wakes up before dawn to knead dough and bake pandesal, the traditional Filipino bread roll. Despite her age, Lola Maria's Bakery has become a beloved gathering spot for locals, where they not only enjoy her freshly baked goods, but also seek her advice and wisdom on various matters. Her resilience and entrepreneurial spirit inspire not only her neighbors, but also younger generations, highlighting the invaluable contributions of senior citizens to the community's economic and social fabric. This anecdote showcases how senior citizens like Lola Maria continue to actively participate in economic activities and serve as pillars of wisdom and support in their communities, reinforcing the importance of recognizing and celebrating their contributions. With that, let us commence our discussion right away about the economic contributions of Filipino senior citizens. According to the Philippine Statistics Authority, the percentage of senior citizens aged 60 years and above in the Philippines is estimated to be around 8.2% of the total population in 2020, and that many senior citizens in the Philippines continue to work beyond the retirement age, contributing to the labor force and economy through various industries such as agriculture, retail, and services. What are your insights about this, Pierre Tony and Pierre Raul? Can you cite specific examples or case studies of senior citizens who have made significant contributions beyond retirement age?
Thank you very much, Doc Chin, and good morning to everyone. I think I have to start with something like this. We know that senior citizens have already accumulated a lot of knowledge, accumulated a lot of experience and talent that it is uh, that we can take advantage of when they are going to retire. So it is important, therefore, that we look at some of the possibilities that the senior citizens who are going to retire will be able to contribute to nation building. One there are a lot of possibilities, and one way is, of course, there are suggestions that we extend the mandatory retirement age to from 65 to 70, or we can have a flexible retirement scheme where you can retire at the age of 65 and then have retirement again at the age of 75. So, but the point here is that we should be able to use the resources of senior citizens in nation building.
Dear Raul, what can you say about
Good morning, everyone. Good morning to my peers. Actually, in terms of being a senior citizen, actually reaching this far is not about finding ourselves. It's about creating ourselves. Kasi retirement or senior citizenship is just a milestone. It's not really a destination. And we really have to create ourselves. While uh, while reaching this far, I think as you have said about the pillars of knowledge and strength, and remember that senior citizens, we have that wisdom. And wisdom are accumulated during the length of our time in this world. And we are multi-domain. And we are surrounded by experts. The experts are called the millennials. And in terms of multi-domain, we have range in terms of interconnectivity of ideas. Then it is for the expert to detail the way. Just like what I'm doing now. I retired 2022. My hobby now is creating storytelling. About storytelling, creating ideas. I don't have to be a consultant because a consultant, you become better than your boss. While a storyteller, you entertain your boss and they own the ideas. Just recently, I crafted an interregional alliance in terms of cruise tourism. And it was captured by Cebu Maritime Transport Expo. I was invited to be the guest speaker and to have this cruise tourism alliance interregional. And they are doing it now. In fact, the buy-in is very strong. And also, I got also invited to join the Daram local government unit as consultant in terms of investment promotions. And also the Palumpun, the Kalamgaman, I got also invited on board as investments promotion consultant. By doing so, it's my own little way, ang tawag doon rainmaking spreading novel ideas for the local government unit, for the local leaders to guide. The bottom line is, at this stage, I'm already about making myself beyond my position before. And this is called now self-transcendence. I have to find my meaning and calling beyond my active service. Because the bottom line, the best question for us, if I am what I have and I'm no longer what I have, who am I? I am no longer what I have, the position before. So my question now is, who am I? So at the end of the day, senior citizen is about being a storyteller.
Pierre
The
Chin, I
question
think
always is, what's my story? What's my story? And that's all.
Pierre Chin, I think the point here is we should give the opportunity. I think it's more of the lack of opportunity for senior citizens to be able to apply what they have learned, what they have experienced, and the talent that they have acquired throughout the years of their existence. So I think giving opportunity for them, whether as for employment, for businesses, or for maybe as consultants, or maybe as leaders of our country. Most of our leaders, anyway, are senior citizens. If you are going to count the age, we're going to look at the age of many of our lawmakers, our president and former presidents, they are all senior citizens. So I think it is more of the opportunity to be able to use their talent, their knowledge, and their experience in order to be able to help our country.
Yeah. So I totally agree with you, Pierce Raul and Pierre Tony. Indeed, retirement does not mean our senior citizens are tired. It may simply mean replacing the old tires with new ones, so to speak, borrowing from the words of former Undersecretary Luz Ilagan when she had a talk, because she is now the president of the Ateneo de Davao Organization of Retired Educators and Employees. And that's what she said. Na with a new set of wheels, active and healthy senior citizens should still continue and do whatever they want to do or go wherever they want to go. So, do you agree with this analogy?
Yes, I agree. Actually, retirement or senior citizenship is called change retirement. We have to change style.
change tire. How about you, Peer Tony? How about kasi I have heard about some government agencies having this pre-retirement orientation, no? So, do you think our retirees are ready when they go into retirement? Do we have transition programs talaga that support them when they go into retirement? What are your thoughts?
Actually, that's the gap of the process of transition. While the orientation, I think, is just like an event. It's
Yeah.
not really a program. And remember that what defines behavior or attitude or culture is they are programs or systems or structures to be followed on. Yan ang problema natin eh. Unlike, we are not unlike the other countries, the Singapore, the Japanese. We have that program. So that's really the program. It's called, we have to have a decompression to decompress from the old system, old way of life, then to the new way of life. Yun ang problema natin. So ang bottom line, Mintras, ang problema yung mental health eh. Kasi ang transition very sudden eh.
I agree. That's why maybe because it's also our culture or maybe our mindset that when someone retires, they should now relax and do not engage in much activities anymore, and I think the sudden change makes them feel isolated perhaps or lonely because 'di ba sanay na very busy, may ginagawa every day, and now if they are not prepared for retirement, so that's when depression, some get some mental health issues, and even others early onset of dementia.
Yeah, I agree with you, Chin. You know, as senior citizens, you've been very busy, working, acquiring knowledge, experience, etc. But when you retire, all of a sudden you're doing nothing. So what happens to you? So that's when depression and mental problems sets in.
So this supports now that there should be flexible retirement, right? If they still want to work. Anyway, we have policies and we have laws about age discrimination.
Yeah, I agree with that. Ang tawag doon is about ageism eh.
Yes.
Meron tayong stereotyping doon pag senior citizen ka na. You seems to be stereotyped as no longer as usual eh. In terms of mental cognitive ability and health capacity. So ang bottom line palagi yung mindset, yung stereotyping mindset. Yun ang nagiging concern natin.
Yes. I think we need to change that because in other countries, we have observed, they even let their senior citizens work until as much as they can, even up to the age 80, 85. That's how healthy they are.
Yeah,
yun ang problema ng sa age of acceleration eh. During active years natin, we are in high speed. The hardest part in high speed is to decelerate. Yun ngayon ang problema, yun yung deceleration, yung how to pause. Yun nagkakaproblema eh. So yun ang dapat magkaroon ng program for that.
Yeah, I agree. But so far, the Philippine government has implemented various policies and programs to support senior citizens, including social pension programs, discounts on goods and services, and the Commission is trying to establish age-friendly cities and communities. And on the other hand, senior citizen organizations and advocacy groups in the Philippines work to promote rights and welfare and well-being of older adults, advocating for policies that address their needs and concerns. But what more should we do? Now, what your thoughts, Piers, Tony, and Raul? Can you discuss any other challenges in the existing policies and suggest probably potential solutions and improvements?
Let's start Per Chin. Let's start with what are in store for senior citizens.
Yeah.
Okay, one is there are House bills that were approved. No, House Bill 161, 162, 163. All of these bills would be giving 12% VAT and 20% discount to to senior citizens, enhancing the benefits of senior citizens. In addition to what they are doing or they are availing under Republic Act 994. Also, there is an, I mean, we have already a Republic Act 11916, which already increased the social pension from 100 to 1,000 pesos for indigents. No? And another law that was recently passed is the amendment to the centenarian law, in which for every milestone like 80, 85, 90, 95, that senior citizens receiving reaching these milestones ages will receive 10,000 pesos. Then there is also in the works under they're being considered is in addition to the uh, social pension that they are receiving now, there will be a universal pension, which means that all senior citizens, whether you are indigent or whatever your economic status is, you will be receiving 500 or 1,000 pesos, depending on what will be approved as the amount that you are going to receive per as decided by our lawmakers. But I think this there are beyond what are the benefits per chin and per row, beyond the benefits that are allowed under our existing laws. I think one of the issues that crop up every now and then, especially in social media, is about the implementation of the benefits, particularly of the 20% discount and the 12% VAT exemption. So I would like to say that many establishments are not making the proper computation of giving this discount. Some establishments like hotels, restaurants do not even give the discount on the pretext that it is a promo rate. But it was clear and DTI clarified that they can only you will not be able to give the discount if it is a promo rate that was approved by the Department of Trade and Industry. If it is not approved, then they should be able to apply the 20% discount. And one of the things that always observe every day is that about parking. No? Some establishments give 20% discount, but no exemption of the 12% VAT. Others give the 12% VAT exemptions, but some big establishments actually give exemptions, and this is what is rather intriguing, is that in some establishments, they give only exemption from parking fees for residents of the LGU where they are located. So if you are a senior citizen in other LGUs, you are not entitled to do it, to the exemption. So I think there has to be done something about that. But there are a lot of problems and issues actually especially for the senior citizen discount per chin, no? And so what I would like to suggest here in order to solve the problem of enforcement and monitoring is that I would suggest that the National Commission of Senior Citizens would advocate to the LGUs to enact ordinance, creating a monitoring and enforcement team with the OSCA head as the lead. And probably a model ordinance can be crafted for reference of LGUs and most especially of the DILG. They can advocate or probably the ILG can issue a memorandum circular regarding the adoption of a model ordinance that could be benefit to senior citizens.
Your thoughts, Pierre Raul? I think you are on mute, Pierre Raul.
I agree with Sir Tony about the fragmented policies, implementation of policies and laws about our senior citizen. It is considering that we have this local government code that fragmented everything. Kanya-kanya, iba sa ibang LGU are not accepting the other LGU. I suggest that the best solution for that is to have an ecosystem approach, a bill of rights of the senior citizen listed in a covenant card, a specific benefit. Then you have to show it to the to the company or services provider that you are entitled to the benefit. Considering that our problem is cascading all the rights that we know about senior citizen. On the ground, they don't know much about the benefits. They are just waiting what's coming to them. So ang bottom line, we really have to have a holistic approach in terms of senior citizen benefits. Yun ang nakikita ko. Otherwise, hindi masusolve yan. Yun ang problema natin. Fragmented.
Fragmented. Yeah, I also agree. Depends on the leadership of the LGU. So kahit pa, although we advocate that there's already in the bill, it was mentioned that business establishments, before they will get their business permits, should be able to must first secure an orientation and let their employees have a training on how to compute, or perhaps revisit their policies regarding the discounts. Kaya nga po na yung maalala ninyo sa news, si Starbucks ay it was a big news because they limit the discounts applied to only to one drink and to one kind of food, and then the other, after that wala na, no? So it depends on the locality, and it depends on the business establishment. But talking about the ecosystem, Pierre Raul, we have often heard now from several senior citizen organizations and older person leaders that they want now to have a Magna Carta for senior citizens. What do you think about that?
Well, that's the way to go. Considering that we really have to have a systems thinking approach rather than linear. Kasi yung linear, kanya-kanyang implementation. While systems is you really have to follow the process. Yun ang ano. It is for the leaders to follow the system and not the system being made by the local government head, the incumbent one.
So maybe there will be a lot of senior citizens, especially those who are listening right now. Should we have a public consultation about the crafting of the Magna Carta? They get involved and join the discussion. Well, yes, the suggestions of Pierre Tony regarding the ordinance is really good, and as well as the suggestions of Pierre Raul. The commission actually can bring it out during the OSCA summits or regional advisory body conferences. This is something that we should note and see, no? Parang moving forward. Now, I would like to direct our discussion about family support and social impact of senior citizens. You see, in our culture, there is a strong tradition of filial piety, wherein children often provide care and support for their aging parents or grandparents. On the other hand, senior citizens play a significant role in family structure. They provide guidance, they provide wisdom and support to younger generations. And they are active participants in community activities, religious organizations, and even barangay affairs. But overall, do their roles really contribute to social cohesion, cultural preservation, or promote voluntarism in maintaining the fabric of our society? Can you please share some personal anecdotes, perhaps, or experiences related to the importance of family support and intergenerational relationships?
Dokchin, I think that's a very interesting part of our life. No, as senior citizen, I would like to say, and I'm sure a lot of our senior citizens here can relate to this. a lot of our senior citizens are doing what we call as the apostolic work. What do you mean by apostolic work? It is just simply taking care of their grandchildren. Okay? And this makes them happy. I mean, this grandparents would be very happy to help their children in order to take care of their grandchildren. In one of our yeah, we have in our family, for instance, that our children, the husband and the wife will go to work, and so there's nobody who's going to take care of their children. So the grandparents there can come in and take care of them, and then so they can be very productive, and also at the same time making the grandparents very happy. So if an apostolic work would really be a good way also in order to avoid or have this dementia problem, being happy and together and being with the family.
Your thoughts, Pierre Raul?
Well, I agree with Sir Tony that that grandfatherhood is the real fatherhood. Considering that during our lifetime in active service, it's about making a living and not a life. So being a father, then I tend more on providing them with material things, forgetting about the real father of having time. While on the grandfatherhood, I have all the time in the world. It is about having time for my time. While I was active then, I am being controlled by a system. While on the retirement side, I am controlling my system. I have control over my life. So makikita natin dito that the real definer of our grandchildren are the grandfather because they have the time to influence them. While the parents nowadays, because of the IT revolution, the Facebook, they don't have time to define the culture of our children. So grandfatherhood nowadays is really a great definer in terms of character building. So kung makikita natin dito ngayon, maiksi na we have a very short shelf life. So we tend to have more meaning in our use of time. It's no longer about time management. It's about time revolution, the changing use of our time because we are suffering from lack of time. So I agree with Sir Tony that we are really the lighthouse of the family in terms of defining culture. And remember always that grandparents, we are the glue of the reunion. And remember that when the passing by of the grandparents, usually what happened, nagkakaroon ng faction. So yun ang role namin. We are the glue, the unifier of the family. So ang bottom line is to carry on the culture of what we have. So we are really the game changer in terms of the future. We are the bridge to the next generation. And that's all my take for that.
Doctrine, I think I have to I will add something to that because as senior citizens, we have all the time in the world, we have I mean, aside from the apostolic work, I think we can do some volunteer work, no? In the church, in some social organizations, and so on. So I think volunteering in social work would help a lot, again, in terms of maintaining your mental health, as well as physically. No? I mean, physically, if you're still active, you will live longer because you are physically active and mentally alert.
That's true.
Actually, yung bonus talaga the greatest gift of the Philippines in terms of senior citizenship, actually yung love, the human factor. If you look at Japan today, we have that culture hikomori, yung dying silently and aging silently because of love of country and love of the company, of the workplace they belong. So pag nag-retire sila, they didn't have a place to go back. Then another problem ng Japanese is the strong sense of pride. They don't want to be helped. Yung independence nandoon. Unlike sa Filipino culture that we are so used with ayuda. So the ayuda thing is called caring. And that caring is what make us very exciting every day. The love. In the US, you tend to have money to give to the government to take care of the senior citizen on the house for the aged. But in the Philippines, house for the aged is really a taboo. We tend to care our grandparents at home. It's called caring system. We have a very strong caring system. And that's all that we got. It cannot be mimicked by EIs.
That's true. I think the home for the aged, if there are um, centers for in our communities, it will be more for the abandoned
Yeah.
elderly. But most of the time for us, it is quite unimaginable to put a grandparent to a home
Yeah.
where other people will be taking care of them. Whereas in other countries, they don't want to be a burden, and that's why they don't they enroll themselves, or they are placed in homes, right? Retirement homes. They rather go there. But for us, para siyang ano, we would like to them to age in place, and that's why if I don't know if it's still in other places, ano pa rin ba siya na like in families we have compound. In a compound there are several lahat ng ano siblings, the the grandparents will have a big lot, and then all their children will have their own houses within the compound because they want to live with next to each other. And tama po, parang maganda siya na ano ng kultura natin na we care for our elderly. Pero meron din naman pong sometimes on the negative side of it, especially for those who are having financial trouble. So how do you think government should help these no, citizens?
There are a lot of things that the government can do, per chin, no? Especially in terms of helping, I mean, giving benefits to elderlies, like in the case of healthcare, no? They should be able to help kahit na medyo hirap sa buhay yun, no? For as long as meron namang say libre na konsulta binibigay ng government for your health, and also some big discounts for some medicines. So maraming pwedeng gawin ng gobyerno along this line, and also giving some incentives also for those who are taking care of their grandparents or
Well,
Well,
actually, that's true. Yes po, ano,
I
Hero.
agree with Senator Tony that the government should have an intervention in terms of support. I think the best model is Singapore. They have this what we call re-employment program after retirement or after being a senior citizen. Re-employment program. And remember that during our active years in service, we do our job out of survival, not because we like the job.
Yes.
So in Singapore, they have this what we call the ability and proclivity. The ability is the skill set you acquire, and then it is the reason, the ability that you are being hired in your job. While the proclivity is your tendency or the habit that you enjoy or your passion. So in Singapore, they will ask you, what is your proclivity or your passion or tendency? They will choose a job opportunity for that. Just like so employment, re-employment for the senior citizen, taxi drivers. And for the women, restaurant server, din cook. So ang tawag doon re-employment eh. So if government will have that program, I think it being mainstream, I think that would be a good model for us. Yun ang nakikita kong
I think that is a good idea, and especially if we have partners in the community like big private establishments or companies who will be given incentives when if ever they are going to hire um, seniors. Um, okay. So like going back to what Pierre Tony has mentioned a while ago, and Pierre Raul of the Singapore model. In the Philippines, we also have some programs like the Department of Health or the PhilHealth providing healthcare services and expanding coverage for senior citizens. It's just that I think there are still disparities or challenges in access. They still have challenges in accessing healthcare services. No, so and that is why I think the reemployment program will help them and bridge some of this gap. But at the same time, um, the community itself, I believe, should also do more. No, it's like a social prescribing. This word I have learned from a doctor from Singapore. So there's a lot of models that we can actually benchmark from Singapore, Pierre Raul, and they call it social prescribing, and the
Yeah.
community help each other. No, they
Yeah.
all intergenerational siya because after all, the young ones are going to be senior citizens. Even I will be senior citizens in 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah, agree with you. I'm considering also, I support Sir Tony that we have to be an able grandfather. Eh. Kasi pag you're a grandfather and you don't have money in your pocket, your grandchildren will not go to you.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why it is important per Raul, that you should, I mean, as senior citizens, we still have to be very active, no? In terms, of course, hindi naman kailang maghanap patay ka o hanap ano, whatever, but it is just this part of earning, having some money for to share with your grandchildren, you know, the small things are counts a lot for them, and
Yeah.
and of course, towards the end, it's a symbiotic relationship. Eh. You are having with having fun with your grandchildren, and you are very happy also to share whatever resources you have, you know, financial, whatever, or talents, maybe talents in singing, or talent in math. For instance, you know, if you're an engineer, then you can always tell your friends how to solve problems, equations, and so on. So, I mean, that's really a
Yeah.
lot of things today. But I would like to share, no, just very briefly, regarding the employment, payroll. I think I agree with you. In the United States, for instance, I have experienced this very personally. When we were going back to the Philippines in New York airport, we requested for a wheelchair. And one of the persons who is going to push for my wheelchair is a retired police officer in the Philippines. So, you know, and so I was surprised and very happy. Of course, I'm very happy to talk to the person, and says, well, we have to be very active and so on. So that's really part of, re-employment, as we said it earlier.
Another observation, I think there's also a tyranny of overcaring. In the Philippines, we love so much the elderly to the point that in loving, you tend to underestimate them that they can no longer do things as usual. Then they don't think as usual. Na ang tingin nila sa atin medyo limited na. Eh. Remember that brains are like rubber band. If you stop using it, it will shrink. So I think we really have to change the mindset.
That's right. I agree. Um, we have some questions from Facebook, and let me read it to you. Rehousing in Singapore, depending on their preferences and financial means, seniors can either buy a studio apartment or buy or rent a housing and development board flat. The HDB, or the Housing Development Board flat, is also exploring the feasibility of building two rooms flats for those who want to purchase smaller homes. For those who prefer private housing, there are executive condominiums and private residences available. Why can't we copy this policy in the Philippines?
Well, in Singapore, based on my visit to Singapore Housing Board Authority, yung maaga pa sila, nagbabayad na sila doon for that program. Eh. Unlike here in the Philippines, we tend to depend so much on government subsidy. But in Singapore, they have the government subsidy, then the people's contribution. So if you look at Singapore, for the first phase of the marriage, you have to have a small flat, then suddenly you elevate to something bigger, up to the senior citizen level. So ganun ang Singapore. Marami silang pera unlike sa Philippines. Eh. Yun ang concern natin.
In addition to that, I think there's a cultural differences. Eh. As you mentioned earlier, Perchin, yung senior citizen would have to, buy a very big lot with all these children having to construct their own houses together with the children. You don't need this kind of, I mean, the examples of Singapore. And also, sa atin kasi iba yung ating kultura eh. So we need to live with our parents. And it's our as grandparents are happy to be with their children and grandchildren. So I think having purchased their own house, their own plot, etc. Hindi siya masyado magkiklik dito sa atin eh.
Yeah. Actually, yung concern natin yung extended family culture.
Yes, exactly.
Then pangalawa, it is not applicable to the Singapore model. Then the tendency of having dogs at the house, it cannot be done in Singapore. Yeah. So iba yung narrative natin, being an extended family is the normal thing.
Which something is not I think foreigners do not understand, but for us, it makes us feel secure.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When we are in the presence of our extended family, wherein like when I was when when I have to live for work and then there's no house helper around to watch over my kids, so I drop them off to their grandparents to my parents and I feel safe that they're there.
Yeah. Another example in Japan, there's a high percentage of dying alone, and to the point that they are being discovered a week after their death because they are living alone. That's the problem in Japan. So it's not going to happen here in the Philippines, because in the house we are so many inside the house. In Japan, you are living in isolation.
There is another. There's another question sa Facebook, Perchin, no? Regarding how best can we have our senior citizens remain healthy and productive. This is, of course, already being done in other countries. Well, it is also done in the Philippines. I'm doing it.
Yes.
I'm doing it. I mean, first of all, of course, you have to be very active. No, I mean, if you exercise or you run but do not stress too much. No, I mean, unlike when you were young, you can run probably 100 kilometers or whatever, as fast as you can. But of course, you have to slow down if you are tired. I mean, in running or jogging, then you slow down, rest, and so on, and then continue. You have to be very active physically. And second, of course, there's a lot of things that you have to be. That's why it's important to have a work. Whether it is, but senior citizens, of course, hindi naman pwede yung full time, no? Kasi baka sa atin especially in Metro Manila, kapag magpo full time ka pa, pupunta kang Ortigas from here in Valenzuela, it will take me 2 hours to go there and then go back 2 hours. It's just wasting a lot of time, no? Hindi pwedeng gano'n. So probably if we're doing it online, then okay lang yun, no? I mean, for as long as you have your mental exercises. If you have the skills as well as the credentials, you can teach. I mean, the best way the best way in order to be able to have mentally alert, no, etc., is to teach because you will be challenged. No, kailangan you have to again study and of course taking care of whatever questions that your students will ask you, etc. So that I think is very good. And of course, again, we have discussed our love with family, social interactions, and so on. So these are all the things that we have to do in order to remain, uh, I mean, live longer actually.
Well, another observation I think is in the orientation in terms of entry to the senior citizen free. I think is we have to have a re-engineering or reinventing course or critical thinking course on how to we have to reinvent ourselves.
Yeah.
Yung mga senior citizens. The bottom line is about reinventing eh. Sabi nga ni Search ni Ma'am Perchin, it's about adaptation and resiliency. And remember that the greatest apps is about being adaptation. The mother of all apps is adaptation, how you adapt to the situation. Yun ang nakikita ko sa challenges ng sa level ng being a senior citizen.
Okay, mukhang walang sound si Pershing.
Yeah,
I,
hi. I'm back.
mm,
Well, in the Philippines, our internet connection is sometimes a problem. Forgive me, I was momentarily out of the. But the conversation that we had, that I had, was able to catch on a while ago. It's about healthy aging. Actually, we are already doing it because it is, as the PSA survey says, that the average lifespan now of Filipinos is 72 years old. So it means that, oh yeah, so before it's just about 65. So meaning older persons now in the Philippines are more conscious. They are living a healthier lifestyle than before, and are making conscious effort to avoid uh, the onset of non-communicable diseases. So we are now very much healthier Filipinos now. So I think yun yung pinaka ano natin, no, na our environment, we will make it more age friendly, so that holistically, each all of us will be able to develop and reach our fullest potential. So yun yung kanina po ninano natin, 'di ba? Kasi pagdating ng senior citizens, it's about generativity versus stagnation. And to be healthy, one should not stop doing what they would like to do.
yes, exactly. That's important, Perchin. I think we really have to be active. We have to be physically active. And I think I would like to add, we have also to take care of our diet. You know, I mean, uh, may saying na nung araw, gusto mong kumain ng masasarap, hindi ka makakakain dahil wala kang pera. Pero ngayon, marami kang pera pero hindi mo na makakain lahat ng gusto mo kainin. Di ba? So, I mean, that's the irony. Pero, seriously, I think that there should be, no, I mean, we have to watch what we are eating, okay? For instance, we have to avoid sugar. I mean, that's the kind of thing. No? You should avoid sugar by all means. Kasi ang sugar, mas marami ang epekto niyan eh. So, that's and I mean, my point here is we have to take care of our diet and eat not so much para lang but in order to maintain our health, no? I mean, to be very active for that.
Well, another good
How about
news.
ano?
Another good news. The recent data about happiness, I think Philippines is number 2 and number 1, and number 1 is Singapore in Asia. Just the recent data. We are number 2 in terms of happiness index, and Singapore is number 1. So it's just a matter of
Oh,
attitude, really.
yes. Um, the WHO, the World Health Organization, usually advocates, and even not just in Japan, in Singapore, in other places, for a healthy, active aging and for happy senior citizens. There are just 3 points that we need to remember, and we keep on reminding everyone, because healthy aging starts from when they are inside the womb until we grow old. So it's about the diet that Pierre Tony has
Yeah.
mentioned, exercise, a good amount of exercise that's according to your own pace, and social activities. These three things are needed so that we are going to live happy days, happy lives, no, and active. We remain active.
And besides that, Perchin, I think we have to live longer in order to get that centenarian benefits, no? 10,000 for every milestone. I think
Plus,
that
got
should
the
be an
LGU's
incentive.
counterpart.
Yes.
Actually, my target is not about quantity life. It's about quality life. Eh. Yun ang bottom line. You might have the quantity or the length of life, but you don't have the quality. I rather go for quality.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's the ultimate of course goal. Our goal should be able to um enjoy God's blessings as long as we could. So I think we have a very interesting episode today. So any other more points or additional inputs or insights before we end our program this Sunday?
I think we have said everything now with Perchin.
No more na. Oo po.
Yeah.
Okay. So, in closing, let us remember the importance of honoring and valuing our senior citizens. And they are not just recipients of care, they are our pillars of wisdom and resilience in our communities. By recognizing their contributions, we affirm their dignity and enrich our society. And to our audiences, we encourage you to take action or get involved in initiatives that support and uplift our senior citizens in your respective communities. Here in Peers at Town Hall, we will continue to champion their rights, create inclusive spaces, and celebrate their legacy. Together, let's build an age-friendly world where every senior citizen is respected and valued. On behalf of the peers, thank you for being with us this episode. And for those who want to join Team Replay, you can watch this episode again and all of our other episodes on this page and the Peers at Town Hall Facebook account. And we invite you to continue the conversation here on social media and other platforms. See you all again next week. Madayaw na adlaw kaninyong tanan.